This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome to the programme. We do begin with breaking news and a chaotic scene in Alaska right now. Authorities are telling everyone there to shelter in place after an earthquake struck near the city of Anchorage. Officials have issued a tsunami warning as well. Phone lines are impacted, roads are closed, and one of CNN's affiliates was knocked off the air when its roof collapsed. There are reports of an overpass that may have collapsed as well. Let's go straight to Nick Watt, who's standing by in Los Angeles with the very latest on this. Nick, I guess the best source of information at the moment is social media. What are we hearing? What are people saying?
Well, it is. I mean, we're seeing many videos of pendant lights swinging furiously, a coffee shop with everything knocked off the tables, some windows smashed. OK, so that was one from one of our affiliates there in Anchorage, Alaska. The latest we're hearing is that the tsunami warning has been cancelled, but still a very serious situation unfolding there in Anchorage, Alaska. 7.0 magnitude quake. We'll stay across it, bring you further details when we have them. Let's turn our attention, though, to Argentina now, where, as we speak, the most powerful leaders in the world are shaping the fate of global policy as we know it. In the past couple of hours, Donald Trump met the prime ministers of India and Japan. Trade was high on their agenda, especially as the US president prepares to meet China's leader on Saturday. Now, that issue dominated earlier in the day as well. You're looking at pictures of Mr. Trump signing a new trade deal with Mexico and Canada. But for all the sense of progress abroad, there is trouble back home. A guilty plea from Mr. Trump's former lawyer is something that's reportedly souring the president's mood altogether. Our Nick Robertson joins us now from Buenos Aires with all the very latest. Nick, it's always an interesting picture when you put world leaders together in one room, and there have been some surprise interactions for us this time round.
And I think you called out one of them there, that sort of very joyous greeting between President Putin and Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. We've also seen President Xi of China, Xi Jinping, standing next to Mohammed bin Salman, having their photograph taken. Not clear what was said there.
Yeah, OK, Nick, well, I think we can just call it the new NAFTA agreement. We don't need to get our heads around all these new abbreviations. Nick Robertson, live for us there in Buenos Aires. Thanks very much indeed. And now, even while President Trump is tackling a world of problems, of course, at the G20, new revelations back home in the Russia investigation are clearly weighing on his mind. Today, he's defending his business dealings during his presidential campaign, calling them on Twitter, quote, very legal and very cool, and saying it undermines US relations with Russia. Now, let's bring in CNN White House reporter Stephen Collinson for more on this. Stephen, this statement then from Sarah Sanders, the press secretary, it seems everyone in this Trump administration at the moment can't stop talking about Russia.
That's right. On the face of what she says, it's actually correct. The Mueller investigation and the fallout and the political controversy is undermining Donald Trump's administration's efforts to improve relations with Russia.
Our next guest arrived here in the UK in 1939 as a 6-year-old refugee fleeing the persecution of Jews in Nazi-occupied Czechoslovakia. Alfred Dubs is well known here in the UK as a politician and campaigner for refugees. I'm delighted to say Lord Dubs joins me in the studio. We were hearing there from one Holocaust survivor talking about that fear that perhaps this moment in history is being wiped from modern history lessons, from modern people and their recollections. How concerned are you that it's just going to be completely ignored?
Oh, I share her concern very, very much. Of course, there are projects whereby school children are taken to Auschwitz so they can see for themselves.
Yeah.
And I think we have to do more of that, because if young people are aware of what's happened, then they'll be conscious of the need to stop it happening ever again. And
interesting that you mentioned about school trips. I was actually privileged as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old schoolgirl to go to Auschwitz-Birkenau on a school trip. And that was before I'd even learnt about it in history. But it remains etched in my mind as a result of having been there. Obviously, you know, the impact through education is fantastic if that education is there. But how much is it important to have the political will there as well to keep this narrative going?
I think it's absolutely crucial. Look, if we forget about the Holocaust, we're doing enormous disservice to the victims of the Holocaust, the woman you heard just then. But we're also not encouraging the future generation to be aware that this happened. It could happen again. And if we're not aware of what happened in the past, we're not alert to stopping it happening next time.
And thank you for watching tonight. Do stay with us here on CNN. Our special programme, A Shadow Over Europe, with Clarissa Ward, is coming up.